Tensions continue to escalate as the conflict between Iran and Israel continues for the 8th straight day. In the latest developments, Israel Defense Forces have claimed that they have attacked several areas in Tehran, targeting key military installations, and according to the IDF, the Israeli Air Force had deployed more than 60 fighter jets and downed the UAVs launched by Iran, firing over 120 munitions in the operations. The statement released by IDF added that several missile manufacturing industrial sites in Iran's Tehran as well as the SPANT headquarters were attacked. Meanwhile, Iran has also launched missile towards Israel, hitting the city of the Beersheba in southern Israel. Earlier, European diplomats convened in Geneva with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on Friday in a last-ditch effort to prevent the further escalation. Foreign ministers from France, Germany, the UK and the EU have urged restraint and diplomacy. Joining me live on the telecast is Nina Slama, who is an international affairs expert and also professor at the Reichman University in Israel. Appreciate you, ma'am, joining me live on the telecast, as we are also decoding the details that are emerging at this point of time from the escalating tensions in the Middle East. As we speak, there is also fear of what may happen next. I would like to begin, in fact, speaking to you in detail by also asking you firstly, how do you look at these developments emerging at this point of time as the barrage of missiles continue to be hit from Israel?
Thank you for having me, ma'am. So first of all, the situation is very challenging right now. Israel is still on high alert. There is a direct confrontations not only with Iran, but Israel is still combating multiple fronts in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Syria, keeping an open eye in different developments coming from Iran and Yemen. So we are very much alert. Thanks to the Armed Front Command alerts, we are able to take shelter on time and to being able to just be safe from any kind of attack. It is not a 1%, there is no 1% of success, because ballistic missiles hit different civilian infrastructures, including schools, hospitals, residential buildings, and houses of people. And we can see from the visuals that the damage is very much significant and important. Since the beginning of this current conflict, more than 400 missiles were fired from Iran, 24 people were killed, more than 800 people were injured, and more than 5,000 Israelis are currently displaced. So we can understand the situation is very difficult. Israel still have also hostages in Gaza, and I can tell you that there is an intensification of combats right there. So we are on high alert, and we are monitoring and watching very closely different developments that are unfolding.
Absolutely. In fact, as we are also looking at these developments coming, Israel strikes dozens of military targets in Iran, including the nuclear research sites. And as far as the US's intervention is concerned, there is still no clarity there. So how do you look at these statements coming from the United States President Donald Trump?
So there is a strong collaboration between Israel and the US when it comes to the current conflict with Iran. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that whether or not the US will be involved directly in the current conflict, Israel will achieve two main goals. One of them is to destroy the nuclear program of Iran that is posing an imminent threat to Israel, and not only to Israel but to other countries in West Asia, and also weakening and destroying ballistic missiles capabilities. We have to understand that the size of a ballistic missile is the size of a bus that is filled with 1 ton of explosives. And we also saw that some of the missiles are cluster explosives that can just spread different explosions in different places. And this cluster explosive is banned by more than 100 countries. So whether or not the US will enter directly the current war, Israel is resolved to achieve these two main goals.
Well, Ms. Nina, as also we are looking at the statements coming from British foreign ministers like David Lammy to head the Vienna for nuclear talks with Iran and European counterparts. In that regard, how optimistic do you feel that the escalation is going to stay? And if you at all expect any kind of de-escalation in the coming days soon?
So we are, of course, hoping for a de-escalation, and we are hoping to restore stability in the region. But unfortunately, for the past decade, there were talks that were taking place with Iran in the framework of the JCPOA that was signed in 2015. The US decided that it was not relevant, and this is why under the first Trump administration, President Donald Trump decided to back from this agreement. Now the European countries are trying, as you said, to settle this conflict diplomatically. But for the past few months, President Donald Trump held direct negotiations with Iran in order to seek for diplomatic solutions. But unfortunately, Israel was able to intercept very important intelligence that said very clearly that Iran is about to develop and to achieve its nuclear program and build 9 nuclear bombs together with the launchers of the ballistic missiles that were directed to Israel. And we see that for the past 8 days, we're able to target different civilian infrastructures in the Jewish state. So it is always Israel is always ready to extend its end to peace and to stability. But when there is a despotic and tyrannic Iranian regime that is resolved to undermine Israel's national security, Israel cannot cannot wait and as to act accordingly.
All right. In fact, thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us live and at this point of time decoding for us about the tensions that are escalating.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.